What's it really like to live in a place where people come to take a vacation in the mountains? I'm hoping to give you a clearer picture today on what life in Salida, Colorado is actually like. We're going to go through some pros and cons, and you'll get to hear about day-to-day life in our small mountain town in Colorado. Let's start with the first pro. Easy to figure out. The outdoor beauty and adventure of our area. There is so much to see and do here, you'll never run out. The natural beauty is unparalleled. We're right in the heart of the Rocky Mountains, and there's activities for every single season of the year. Even if adventuring isn't your thing, there's a lot of places to take a beautiful stroll or a drive. We have trails you can get on right downtown. And when I talk about outdoor activities, I mean 2 or 3 outdoor activities for every season of the year. If I listed them, we'd be here all day. Another big plus for most people that live here is the vibrant community life. For a small town, it has a lot of entertainment and culture that you usually wouldn't find in such a small population center. The town also has a strong sense of community, so people are gathering all the time, whether it be for a festival or live music, or coming out just to get to know their neighbors, supporting local students at sporting events. There is a ton of stuff to do together in groups of people. The schools are great and people rally around the kids and other community events. In fact, we have found that there are more options here for our kids to participate in and even for ourselves than when we lived in much larger cities. Also, there's great healthcare. We have a large regional hospital, doctors, dentists, optometrists, my husband, just throw that in there. They're all centrally located right near downtown. Another plus that you might not think is real is affordability. For some of the people that grew up in and around Salida, that may sound incorrect, but in actuality, Salida is one of the few affordable mountain towns left in the state, where our prices are on par with Denver metro area and not more expensive than Denver metro area. So it is affordable if you consider that. But the flip side of that is a con. Affordability. The cost of living can be higher here because gas prices are higher, groceries are higher, it's harder to get stuff here than it is in bigger cities. As more people discover this gem, home prices have consistently been on the rise. So another con that you might not consider is the small town lifestyle. For some, that's why they come. They want the peace, they want the quiet, they want to feel like they're in a small town and community. But other people, they like Target. They need big places to shop. They want to have all the amenities. The slower pace can be a bit of an adjustment. You can't always get to a concert on the weekends at Red Rocks or go to a Broncos game without a bit of trouble and usually a hotel room. Though for most people that are here, the small town charm and being away from it all is a pro. The last con that some people don't always anticipate are the high tourist times. And it can be annoying to get around town when town is 5 times as crowded as it usually would be. So, is Salida right for you? It really depends on what you're looking for. And if you value natural beauty, outdoor adventure, tight-knit community, good schools, good healthcare, and affordable housing in the mountains, this might be the perfect place.
I'm Jessica Cheriton, your host of American Dream TV. I'm here in Salida, Colorado, and I'm with Steve Chapman, the host of Salida Walking Tours. He's going to show us around downtown today. We're going to learn a lot of things about historic downtown Salida. Behind us is the Palace Hotel. What can you tell me about this building?
Yeah, so the Palace is really fascinating. One, it's no longer a hotel, it's now vacation rentals. But the Palace Hotel went up in 1909. Cost a couple of $1 million in today's money to build. And this was the shining jewel of downtown. Things are a little different in the day. The rooms are just big enough for a bed and a night table. So everywhere that you see a window was a separate room. So it's changed a lot over the years. And then this corner building were called sample rooms. Traveling salesmen would come to town, they'd get off the train. They would rent space downstairs, they'd live upstairs. And they would set up shop. And then when business finally dried up, they'd hop back on the train, move to the next town.
You said you were going to tell me about the oldest commercial building downtown.
That building went up in January 1883. Now, you got to realize what things were like at the time. Originally, most of downtown were very cheap wood frame buildings. You didn't want to put a lot of money in because these boom towns came and went constantly.
Right.
But the people who built that, it was Edward Corbin, Elias Webb. They were college-educated men out of Illinois. They had come out of Cleora, which used to be up the road just a little ways, doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
But they realized this town had legs because the railroad was based here.
Okay. Yeah.
And so they went brick as soon as they could afford it. So it's now the oldest commercial building. Later, upstairs was the Masonic Lodge, and much later, downstairs was a saloon, and upstairs was a brothel.
So tell me a little more about where downtown was supposed to be, or the direction town was planned on being built, and how that all changed.
Yeah, so a lot has really kind of shifted over the years. When the town was first created, First Street was the main street, and the town was lined up to face the mountains. You can't quite see them with the clouds. And the reason was the original train depot was up here on G and First. Most of the commerce was on that end of First Street, but it's not a really good place for a depot. And not long after establishing the town, they moved it across the river, which they didn't have a bridge at the time, but they still built the depot there. And very quickly, everybody realized, well, if you want to make money, you need to be near the depot, and the town shifted, and F Street became a de facto main street. That's why Lower F is where most of the businesses are today. Behind me, those are called ghost signs. A ghost sign is like a ghost town. It's a billboard that's no longer in use. And this is some of the oldest you'll ever run into, some of the best preserved. Starting up top, we have Coca-Cola for 5 cents. Under Coca-Cola are 2 sets of words, one on top of the other. One set of words has an early marketing slogan. It reads, "For that tired feeling." Because when this went up in 1890, Coca-Cola was a medication, not a soft drink. At the time, they believed carbonated beverages had medicinal qualities. It could cure everything from asthma to arthritis. Under the Coca-Cola sign, though, you see Patterson Hardware. That was down here for about 50 years. And then below that in white is Howell Drug Company. On top of that are 2 words in black. It reads DuPont Explosives. You can buy crates of dynamite at the Patterson Hardware store. I know this little area for a really short period incredibly well.
So I can ask about this wall, for example.
This wall, yep.
Because this is more modern.
It is. This is probably the second most photographed place in town next to the river. This is an art display. It's put up by the building owner's name is Denny. Denny is probably in his 80s now. He's taught kayaking here, and he put this up as an art display and a tribute to the kayaking world. Like that's his sign there. That used to be his company.
Okay, Steve, I wanted to thank you for coming out and showing us around downtown today. I think you have such a pulse on what town is about, and important, I think, to know about where we live. And if you ever come out to Salida, there's walking tours to take. We'd love to see you out here. So now we're over here on 3rd Street, and we're going to take a look at these old historic buildings that were recently condominiumized and make some great downtown living with 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms next to everything that we just took a look at downtown. So now we're standing behind those condos on 3rd Street, and this is all available for development, as is a lot of other smaller pieces of land downtown. You could be a part of making new Salida, and there could be 3 or 4 other condominiums built back here in this area. Thanks for joining me, downtown Salida, Colorado. I learned a lot about what makes our town what it is today. And I'm your host, Jessica Cheriton of American Dream TV. Until next time.